The Center for Creativity at the University of Pittsburgh carries Singer heavy-duty sewing machines in both the workshop, located on the lower level of the university store on Fifth Avenue, and the understory, located in the basement of the Cathedral of Learning. This video will go over the essential parts of the machine and the basic information you'll need to get started with your sewing project. Let's start by looking at the machine's parts. First, make sure the power cord and pedal are plugged into the socket located on the right side of the machine. Once the machine is plugged in, place the pedal on the ground in a position that is comfortable for you. You'll need to use your foot to press the pedal, which will make the machine run. Directly above the socket on the right side of the machine is the power switch. Flip the switch to turn it on. If the machine is on, an overhead light will turn on. In the same area as the light, you'll find the presser foot, the part of the machine that keeps the fabric flat while you're sewing. When sewing, always make sure the presser foot is down by flipping the white presser foot control lever on the back of the machine. To raise the presser foot, you can flip the lever back into the upright position. In front of the presser foot is the needle clamp, which holds the sewing machine needle. First, ask a C4C assistant to help you choose the proper needle for the fabric you're using. You will trade your PIT ID in exchange for the needle. When you're finished using the sewing machine, you can exchange the needle for your PIT ID at the desk. Turn the metal knob of the needle clamp to loosen it. Then, insert the needle vertically with the flat side facing away from you into the hole of the needle clamp. Turn the knob the opposite direction to tighten the clamp and secure the needle. Look at the needle from the front and side to make sure it's inserted straight. A needle inserted diagonally runs the risk of damaging the machine and your project. Now that your needle is in place, check to make sure it moves smoothly up and down by turning the hand wheel located on the right side of the machine. Make sure to only ever turn the hand wheel towards yourself. Now, let's look at the different settings we can change on our machine. On the top left of the machine, you'll find the thread tension dial. Depending on your material and thread, your tension should always be kept between 3 and 5. To the right of the thread tension dial is the needle position dial. Always keep the needle position centered. Please ask a C4C assistant if you're working on a project that requires the needle position to be changed. Further to the right, you'll find the stitch width dial. Always keep the stitch width set to 0 unless you are sewing with a zigzag or decorative stitch pattern. Below the stitch width dial, on the front of the machine, is the stitch length wheel. Most sewing is done between 2 to 2.5 millimeters, so we recommend keeping the length within that range. The last setting on the front of the machine is the stitch pattern wheel. You'll use the black symbols to determine which stitch to use for your project. There are a few additional parts of the machine to be aware of before getting started. There is a compartment on the front left of the machine which stores important supplies such as a screwdriver, empty bobbins, and a small brush for cleaning the inside of the machine. This compartment detaches, which will allow you some extra room for sewing certain projects. With the compartment detached, you'll also have access to the feed dog switch. Most of the time, you'll leave the feed dogs up. Switching the feed dogs down should only be used for freehand sewing. Always switch the feed dogs back up when you're finished using the machine. Most of the time, you'll leave the feed dogs up. The feed dogs grip the fabric from underneath, preventing the fabric from bunching and ensuring consistent stitches. On the front of the machine, you'll find a switch labeled reverse. When you hold the switch down, the machine sews in reverse. This will reinforce the strength of your stitch in the beginning and end of the sew. Now it's time to thread the machine. First, select the thread you'd like to use for your top thread and bobbin. These threads can be different colors, but should be the same weight and type of thread to avoid tension issues. Make sure you use a properly sized plastic bobbin before threading it. Place the spool of thread that you'd like to use for your bobbin on the spool holder. Then, follow the steps to thread the machine for winding the bobbin. First, pull the thread through the metal loop labeled 1. Then, wind the thread around the metal peg below that, bringing the thread down from the right side, looping under, and then back over the top from the left side. Pull the thread through the hole in the bobbin from the inside going out. Then, place your bobbin on the bobbin winder in the position illustrated on the machine and switch the winder to the right. Slowly push your foot down on the pedal and the bobbin will wind. When your bobbin is full, you can cut the thread and remove the spool from the spool holder. Remove the plastic cover from the bobbin case and take your fully wound bobbin to place it in the bobbin case so the thread can be held on the left side. Pull the thread gently under the metal tooth in the bobbin case and let the thread rest on the left of the machine. Now it's time to thread the top of the machine. First, make sure the presser foot and thread take-up lever are positioned upright. Place your selected thread in the spool holder, then follow the numbered directions to thread the machine. Step 1. Pull the thread through the metal loop. Step 2. Slide the thread through the metal tab directly to the left. Step 3. Pull the thread down through the crevice to the right. Step 4. Pull the thread back up the left side. Step 5. Slide the thread into the tab on the thread take-up lever. Step 6. Pull the thread through the eye of the needle and then through the center of the presser foot. Gently holding the same thread with one hand, use your other hand to turn the hand wheel towards yourself. This will cause the needle to catch the bobbin thread and pull it up through the needle plate. Your machine is threaded and ready to sew. While you're sewing, be mindful to keep your fabric straight and to press the foot pedal gently to keep your stitching steady but not too fast. If any issues arise while you're working with the sewing machine, please ask a Center for Creativity assistant for help.